All right, so today we're going to look at a couple of the easier, more straightforward examples using binomial expansion. And first we're just going to do some simple writing down a couple of the terms, beginning and end. Then we'll work through one where we're finding a term from the middle. Now this should be fairly straightforward. It shouldn't be too bad. We're going to be using the formula for the general term that we talked about in class, which is this one over here. And so hopefully that'll be enough to get us through these. Now, the first question here should be fairly straightforward because all we need to do, remember the first term is always going to be 1 times 2x to the power of 12. Okay? And then we're going to go plus, and then the next one, now remember this is going to be the second term, which is the first element. If you remember the Pythagorean or the Pascal's triangle, looks something like this. And for every single row, the second number is always the same as the row number because this is row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the second number, the first element, the second term, that constant is always the same as the row number. So because I'm looking at row 12, this next number should just be 12 times 2x to the, now remember that's going to go down 1, 2x to the 11th, and 1 over x to the first power. And it'll be plus, and then I need the last two terms. And so the last two terms, of course, will be, again, remember the last two terms, again, are the same as the first two terms. It'll always be an exact repetition. It's symmetric down the middle. So this will just be 12 times 2x to the first and 1 over x to the 11th, and then plus 1 again. This time it's 2x to the 0, so that goes away, and I will have 1 over x to the 12th. Now on the IB exam, you would be expected to simplify each of those terms. I'm not going to go through that right now just because of the interest of time, so that it doesn't take too long. So from there, you should be okay simplifying. If you have questions, then send me an email, and I'll look at it. So now let's look at one where we're finding a specific term, the seventh term. Now, we could obviously take Pascal's triangle and go down 14 rows. We would prefer not to do that if we don't have to. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use our general equation here. So we're going to go T7. Now remember 7 is replacing the r plus 1, so that means 7 equals r plus 1, which means r is 6, okay, equals n over r. So n, remember, is the power, it's the row number, so 14r, which we just determined was 6. This, remember, is the binomial coefficient, which is NCR, or otherwise written C with the n up top and the r down below. That is an r, and that is an n. Okay, then we go times a, which is 3x to the n minus r, times b, which is 4 over x squared, all to the r power. And for this situation, we already said that was 6. And so we've got it written out. From here, you simplify. So I'll go ahead and simplify this one just so that you have it. So we'll take our calculator. We will type in 14, and we'll go math over to probability, NCR. This is the same NCR that you would use if we're looking for the number of combinations that are available in each situation. So NCR 6, which will give me 3003. So 3003 times 3x to the 14 minus 6 is 8. So let's just go ahead and do 3 to the 8th power, which is 6561. So times 6561x to the 8th. And then we've got 4 to the 6th power. So 4 to the power of 6, which is 4096. So times 4096 over x to the 12th. We put all that together. So we got 4096 times 3003 times 6561. This is obviously going to be a very large number, so 8.07 times 10 to the 10th, and it's fine to write it that way. 8.07 e to the 10th. 3 digits is perfectly acceptable for any IB exam anyway. So times 10 to the 10th, and then I'll have x to the 8th on top, x to the 12th on bottom, which results in me having an x to the negative 4. Now I know probably sometime in Algebra 1 your teacher taught you that you should never ever leave a negative exponent, but you know what, IB doesn't really care that much. If it really bothers you, you can go ahead and rewrite it as 8.07 times 10 to the 10th over x to the 4th, and that's fine. But this is also perfectly acceptable. Alright, so there's your first couple of examples in using the general term and just doing some reasoning with binomial expansion. If you want a little bit harder ones, then go look at the next video.